Hi, I'm here. I'm awake. I hope you're with me this morning as we get the frogs out. I'm really excited to be sharing some information with you today. This is our first of our weekly Call to Adventure live streams. I hope to be doing this every Tuesday morning, 6:45 a.m. Pacific time. I'm Heather Martinson. I'm the founder of Celebration Education, where we provide adventure, which inspires creativity and leads to possibility. So for today, I'm going to share with you what our adventures are this week. Each week, I'll be sharing you our what we do in class each week, and also the ideas of things that you can do at home, along with some philosophy that we have, that the reasoning behind what we do. We're going to be talking about that. I'll share with you some of our upcoming events. You're welcome to join in any of the things that we're talking about. You don't have to do our full journey program in order to be in our to go on our field trips or anything. And I'm going to have a bit of a challenge for the parents as well each week. So our first thing we're talking about is what the students are doing in our classes this week. So our theme this week is on senses. Leonardo da Vinci he liked to expand on his senses. He believed that a person could learn more and faster if using all senses. So he would observe a bird in flight and try to catch the smallest movement of the bird so he could sketch it out. He would savor every taste of his meal. He would listen intently to the wind. All of these things would help him learn more. And the interesting thing is that by using all of your senses, you actually do increase your ability to learn. Not only that, but you can become smarter, because each of your senses has is a different avenue into your brain. You can learn more and you can learn faster by using all of your senses. So Leonardo was smart in so many ways. For that reason, in workshop classes this week, the students started off by painting using paint that was spiked with some scents, and they painted some things that they experienced with their senses. Then they got to say the names of the various senses in sign language, and they discussed how they personally use their senses. For collaborative activity, each of the students got to work individually or in groups to do a little bit of research about just one of the senses, and then each student or group got to share with the others what they learned. For our writing activity for the week, not just me, but the other teachers as well, introduced the students to some writing by Helen Keller. Of course, Helen Keller was deaf and blind, but yet she wrote some beautiful things. And so the students highlighted the adjectives they found in Helen Keller's writings. And then they had sort of a game where each of them were given an object to write their own adjectives about, and then without the other students knowing what it was. And then they each shared with the other what their adjectives were, and then the other students had to guess what their object was. So it was kind of fun. For our math activity, we did a census survey. The students asked or shared if they had to give up one of their senses, which would it be? And then they made a bar graph out of those, and then added to that, they turned the bar graph into a pie chart. And so that was their math activity. Then for their genius principle of the week, we talked about how by using multiple senses, you're using many avenues into the brain. And so we did a census self-assessment where each student got to notice which of their senses they used the most. Then for our final activity, we played Blind Man's Bluff. So to follow up from that class, our creativity this week for our fireworks, the students can take books home from class with them, but they also can go home and do some activities that expand on what they're learning in class. So we have over a page worth of ideas each week, but I'd like to share with you just a few of the ones that I picked out, I handpicked, that I think are the most fun, that these are the ones I recommend you start with. One is a nature walk. It's always great to get out into nature, but this time you're going to take your nature journal with you if you don't already, and I want the students to experience as many senses as they can while they're out in nature and to write about it in their nature journal. So what they see, hear, smell, and touch. I don't know how you'd work sense of taste in, except for maybe your granola bar, because you shouldn't necessarily be tasting things out in the wild, but have them write about it in their nature journals. The next thing, another idea is working on what you see. Perhaps some students might enjoy writing, creating optical illusions, things that they can draw. Another drawing activity is diagramming the senses. That this is a science and art activity. If they could diagram the 5 different senses and how they're used and how it works with the brain, that sort of thing. I'd love to see one of those. Bring that to class. Another thing that would be great for the students to do would be a taste test. If they set up a taste test with 2 to 5 different food items, that they could have a taste test with their family and friends and have each person say which of these foods they like the best. Now, reflecting off of the math activity we did in class, they can create a bar graph with the results of the taste test, and then take from the bar graph and turn it into a pie chart. And that's a good math challenge for the week. Then one more firework I'm recommending that is not actually included with our, we didn't discuss with the students yet, but how about a 5 senses Halloween? So the students can write about all the different 5 senses that they experience as they celebrate Halloween. So they can write, not just writing about it like a journal entry, but I might challenge them to write a poem, maybe a verse of the poem for each of the senses. I think that'd be a lot of fun. So there's a really good writing activity for the students. So for our philosophy that I want to share with you this week is basically an introductory type of thing, where I want to explain to you what our journey program is. Our journey program is based off of the hero's journey. If you're not familiar with the hero's journey, it is in I'm sorry, I meant to print it, but then I just got it on my phone. So the hero's journey is, if you could see it, if you're familiar with this at all, this is what's called also the monomyth, or the story behind every story, because it's where the hero starts out and he has a call to adventure, which he usually turns down at first, and then eventually accepts his call and goes on the adventure and experiences many things, good and difficult things, and then he rises above all the challenges and returns home victorious. And this is a story that you see throughout literature and movies. Even Star Wars was based off of, literally step by step, based off of the hero's journey. But what's interesting is learning is also the hero's journey. The students are called to adventure. Learning is a great adventure. It's not always one that they are looking forward to. It's not always one that they want to do right off. But as they are pulled in, they see the value of what's happening. They see the good that they can do within the hero's journey, and they are drawn to do more and make more of themselves through the hero's journey. So what I have is I've created, it's right here. I've turned it into our own journey program. In our journey program, this is the process that we go through. I know you can't see it well, but I'm going to explain it all. This is also on our website. If you want to look at on our website, you can see this graphic and further explanations about each part of the Journey program. But we start off with a yearly theme. Our yearly theme this year, of course, is Leonardo da Vinci. He was into so much. Each week we have a different topic based off of the theme. And in our workshop classes each week, we introduce that weekly topic to the students. And it's through 8 fun child-involved activities like the ones I just described. The students can leave from the workshop with books that are related to the topic, and we encourage them to do fireworks at home. These fireworks are like homework, but they're better at lighting the fires of learning. And so we encourage them to do these things. It's not worksheets, it's not filling in blanks or whatever, but it's experiencing the topic and playing with it and exploring it and coming to know it, not just in a superficial way, but in a deep way. The deeper learning experience is done through activities, not the worksheets. Okay, and then we have Being There. Our Being There activities that we do, most of the Being There is field trips. So we go on a lot of field trips. We also have meetups at Disneyland. We also have classes that we hold on a Minecraft server. These classes are reflective of the topic of the week. And so we're going to be diving into the census this Friday. I forgot to mention about that. This Friday, we're doing our census on Minecraft. And so the students get to actually explore through the various senses in a Minecraft environment. All right, so then next comes journaling. We encourage the students to journal their experiences throughout the week. The things that they're learning, as well as things that are just going on in life. And we a lot of times will try to encourage and give them things that they can journal about as they do. Enrichment, every student is an individual, and we don't expect every student to be learning the same thing at the same time. We want and encourage the students to be learning the things that are of interest to them. So we want them to seek out things that they want to learn to make them their individual that they are, to set them apart from everybody else, to make them their greatest self is. And so we encourage enrichment. We offer enrichment classes at each of our centers as well. But even then, we don't always have all the enrichment that all our students need. So wherever you're getting your enrichment, we encourage that. And then the last part of the Journey program is celebrations. We celebrate all the accomplishments, every individual at their own place, and all the great things that they're doing. We celebrate it. Each time they bring work into class, they're proud to show it off, and we celebrate the fact that they brought something back, and we're happy to see that is there. So plus we have 5 or 6 larger celebrations each year. That's where all the groups from each location come together to celebrate and get make it a bigger event with all the groups together. So that's our Journey program, and I'm going to be elaborating on the different parts of the Journey program more individually as in the coming weeks. So let's see. I'm trying to grab here we go. So our upcoming events, tomorrow we have our print museum. This is actually reflective of our topic for the week last week, which was journaling. So tomorrow we're going to the print museum. Anyone can still join us for the print museum. Just sign up tonight. We are going to be, it's a printing museum in Carson. We're going to be printing off of a old style printing press, and each student will get to also bind books. So that's going to be really cool. This is also reflective of our Renaissance topic that we had earlier in the component. So this is the last week of this component, and our next component starts up in 2 weeks. But between the two components, we have our celebration. We're having a Renaissance fair. We're holding in Corona, in a park in Corona, on Wednesday next week at 10 a.m. I'm going to be sending out information about that, so watch for it. And I will, because that'll be a lot of fun. So let's see what else we have coming up. The start of our next component starts on October 30th. And the next component is called Riddles of Nature. Leonardo was fascinated by nature, and he would write riddles about nature. So he made it fun. And so we're going to be having a lot of fun with different types of nature ourselves. For our enrichment classes, those classes may change for each component, but 3 of our locations will be having the STEAM classes. 2 locations have cooking classes. Those are real popular. And we're going to continue an art class with Allie at our Santa Ana location. Also, some new additions that we're working on is teen class in Santa Ana, which includes some computer and programming type of skills. And we're also working on an interesting class just for special needs students, particularly those on the spectrum, that is just for them to help them understand the world around them. Watch for details on these new offerings. So, but before I sign off today, I want to give a weekly challenge to the parents. This is your call to adventure. To the parents, this week the challenge is just for you to consider the ways that you can step a little bit farther away from the classroom style learning, that you can consider the idea that these materials that were created for a classroom are not necessarily the materials that you need to be using when you're working one-on-one with your child, that there are so many more things available to you that you can use and should use that are more, well, they're just better for creating, for being more powerful learning experiences, the doing of real things, touching real things and moving real things and interacting with real people. That's what's going to have them be the greater scholars. So your challenge is to try to consider ways you can get away from the classroom style curriculum. So for any of the things I've talked about today, visit celebrationeducation.com to learn more. And that's it for this week's Call to Adventure. Join me again next Tuesday, 6:45 a.m. I'm Heather Martinson at Celebration Education, where we've been learning outside the box since 2006. I'll see you next time. Bye.